Hey guys, my name is Faith Harview, and today I'm going to be sharing with you my differentiated strategy, which is cubing. So, cubing is an instructional strategy that asks students to consider a concept from a variety of different perspectives. The cubes are six-sided figures that have a different activity or number that corresponds to a question on each side of the cube. The student rolls the cube and then completes the activity that comes up. The goal of cubing is that you're able to offer differentiation without being obvious in your classroom. So every kid in your room could have a different cube than the person next to them. It also gives a hands-on approach, which is much better than just the plain paper pencil formative assessment. It encourages students to look at a topic from various perspectives, and it also enables students to reach higher levels of Bloom's taxonomy. I chose this strategy because it is something that I had never heard of before, and I also think it's a great option for all grade levels. It creates a space for students to do something hands-on, and it can be completed both in person and digitally, which I'm excited to share with you later. Different cubes can be created based on interest and aptitude levels. So you would differentiate similarly with all grade levels, and you would do it in a tiered way. So the first step that you would do is identify the key concepts or skills that you want your students to learn. So it could be based off of your standards, or for me in particular, I work in Gwinnett County, so I would use the AKS and I'd figure out which little area I wanted my kids to be focusing on. Then I would consider different readiness, interest levels, and learning styles before I started creating the cubes. The next step, I would create an appropriately challenging activity. So I would create my first cube. I would create it on a very base level. This is a proficient level. This is what they need to know. And then I would go from there, and that step forward, I would adjust more cubes to be at a up or down by differentiating, so I could do it by their readiness. So cubing can be done very similarly at all grade levels, and because you have the ability to differentiate to such a great extent, it is appropriate for pretty much all classroom settings. You could use it in basically any subject. So in elementary school, these are just some ideas that I came up with. Cubes could be created ahead of time, and students can use them for reading comprehension. So if they read a book and then they had the block, and they could flip the block and could say like theme, and it would have a question about theme that correlates with what they're learning at that time. For middle school, students can use cubing for math to practice both in home and in the classroom. And then high school, cubes can be used in the classroom for, let's say, science, and it can help them think more critically. So cubes can also just be made from paper. Some people use boxes and cover them in paper, but teachers can easily teach students how to create their own, and then they can create them and use them outside of the classroom too. So I'm just going to play a couple of snippets from these videos, and I will share these links to these videos below, but these are some examples of teachers using cubing in their classrooms.
The lower level questions in green, the higher levels in blue, and the medium levels in yellow. And the kids don't know that they are receiving a tiered lesson. So what I do is I go ahead and I have their seating chart already displayed in the room. They look at their seating chart, they go sit down, and they look at the cubes. And the first thing a kid does is they start throwing them up in the air. And you tell them, you're doing exactly what I want you to do.
That by using a cube. This is a cubing activity, and each side of the cube has directions, such as apply it. And students take their object, like the toaster, and they have to think, how would they apply a toaster? What is it like? Or, for example, it might say, describe it. How would you describe it? And they went through all 6 of the different commands, and it starts at the lower thinking, questioning, for example, just the knowledge base, and it goes up through judging and inferencing, where they have to look at the topic and change it a little bit to make it more exciting.
So I will also share these links. These are just some additional ideas and ways that you can use cubing in your classroom. The first link is from Read, Write, Think, and it is a cube creator, which I'm going to show you really quick. And then the other one is from a blog from a teacher who shares different strategies. So this is the online cube creator. You can just write your name right here, click on create your own cube, and then you can do this online too. Thanks so much for listening to my differentiated strategy. Let me know if you have any questions and check out those links that I attached at the bottom.